Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Keith Hochhauser. I'm with Skyline Title Support, and I'm also very happy to be here. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to attend this session. Today's webinar is titled Protecting Deals with UCC and Related Searches for Ironclad Due Diligence. This is a practical and very relevant topic for anyone involved in real estate transactions, lending, or title work. Our session will run 15-20 minutes with time at the end for questions and discussion and anything you guys want to bring up. So please feel free, drop questions in the chat throughout. Jason will be assisting with that, and then we'll circle back with them once we're completed, and then we could do some Q&A. So let's start with why this really matters. The reality is hidden liens can derail even the cleanest looking deals. They can delay closings, cause fundings to fall through, and even trigger lawsuits. In our experience, these issues usually aren't caused by negligence. They're caused by incomplete due diligence. UCC filings and related searches are the first line of defense in uncovering those hidden risks before they become costly surprises. Whether you're a lender, title agent, attorney, real estate professional, these searches should be a core part of your business. And if they're not yet, this webinar will help you build that into your workflow. So here's what we'll cover today. First, I'll give you a quick primer on UCC liens, what they are, how they work, and why they're important. Then we'll walk through complementary searches that are just as important as the UCC searches. I'm going to share a step-by-step search workflow. You can use that or serve it as a checklist for you and your team. Then we're going to look at some real-world pitfalls, including some cases where deals were nearly or completely derailed. After that, I'll touch on some new legal and tech developments that impact how we search today and perhaps how we search tomorrow. Finally, I'll wrap up with some key takeaways, and then we'll open everything up for your questions, okay? So let's start with the basics. A UCC financing statement is a legal notice that a lender has a security interest in a borrower's personal property. It's essentially a public claim of a secured interest in certain assets. This can include equipment, inventory, receivables, even general intangibles. UCC filings are used to establish priority. The filing sets the creditor's priority in case the debtor defaults or files for bankruptcy. The first to file usually has the first claim to the collateral. If the debt sells assets or defaults, the UCC filing allows the lender to legally repossess or enforce their claim on the property. It encourages lenders to issue loans or extend credit because the UCC filing mitigates risk by giving them a legally enforceable claim. UCC filings are usually done at the state level with the Secretary of State. But if fixtures, like equipment affixed to real estate, if they're involved, there may also be county level filings. Drop a yes in chat. Have you guys ever had a deal disrupted by a UCC lien you didn't know about until the last minute? Have you heard of anybody who has? I'm curious. A clean UCC search isn't really always enough, though. Let me explain. Many folks stop after the UCC search and they think they're in the clear. But there's other liens that can trump even a properly filed UCC. For example, federal and state tax liens can take precedence and aren't recorded exactly the same way. Judgment liens and pending lawsuits can also reveal serious risks. You'll want to check for bankruptcy filings, as the debtor might already be under protection, limiting your enforcement. And don't forget, verify entity status and legal name. An inactive business or incorrect entity name can make your search results legally worthless. Think of them as puzzle pieces. If you leave one out and the picture is incomplete, that's where the risk starts to creep in. So let's walk through what a bulletproof search process looks like. Step one, confirm the exact legal name of the debtor. On your end, that means checking articles of incorporations, other official documents. On our end, we ensure we search exactly as provided to us in the request. So be careful, watch out for DBAs and former names. Step two, we identify all relevant jurisdictions, not just where the business is registered, but also where it has significant operations or where assets are located. Three, we order all related searches that could impact the process. Don't rely on just one puzzle piece. These should include UCCs, tax liens, judgments, bankruptcies, in many cases, pending litigation searches on both a county and a federal level. Step four, carefully review any continuations, amendments, or terminations in the filings. These details affect priority and enforceability. Five, perform a bring down, an update, search just before you're closing. Something could have changed yesterday, and then today we have it, tomorrow it poses a problem. And six, address any red flags, whether that's resolving the lien, subordinating it, or ensuring proper title coverage. This process should be repeatable, and I would build it into your standard checklist for every deal. Even experienced professionals can get tripped up. So I'm going to give you a couple quick case examples. First, a lien was missed because the debtor's name was spelled slightly wrong. That one letter difference missed the entire filing. Second, a search was only run in the state where the entity was formed, but the collateral was located in a different state where the previously filed lien existed. Another example, a firm relied on a third-party search tool that didn't show the recent filing. The Department of State results would have caught it, but third-party search tools, hit or miss. Fourth, a personal guarantor's tax liens were missed because the focus was solely on the entity. After the closing, the lien surfaced and complicated the whole enforcement. These are all avoidable mistakes with the right workflow and attention to detail. So let's talk about a few recent updates in the UCC world. In 2022, several states adopted Article 12 amendments that apply to digital assets. This is cryptocurrencies and NFTs. So if you're dealing with these asset types, your lien strategy may need to adapt. States now are also enhancing all their e-filing systems. This is good, but it doesn't remove the need for us to manual or a human verification. Lastly, AI tools are really developing fast, and they're beginning to assist with name matching, monitoring filings. These can reduce oversight gaps, but should be viewed as supplements, not so much replacements for a real manual review. So the takeaway here is really just stay current. The rules and tools are constantly evolving. At Skyline, we support clients nationwide. We do this with UCCs, bundled lien searches, and we follow multi-jurisdictional protocols. We are especially strong in handling name variations. We offer great turnaround times, and it's tailored to meet your timelines. But these are very specific searches for very specific deals. They do happen from time to time, and you may eventually have a need for them. So I'm not really here to put the hard sell on you. We just want you to know that help is available if your internal team needs support or if you need some backup. So let's bring it all together, okay? First, comprehensive due diligence protects both your deal and your reputation. Accuracy in the debtor name, wide jurisdictional coverage, and complete records are non-negotiable. Build your checklist, keep it updated because laws and technology do change and they do evolve. And finally, when in doubt, bring in a specialist or your underwriter to help resolve these issues before the closing. Thanks again, guys. I really appreciate everyone, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. I'd love to open the floor. Feel free, drop some questions in the chat. Have you run into a challenging UCC issue in the past? Let's talk about it. Are you curious about how we approach name searches? Let's talk through it. And if you want to follow up with me directly after the session, I'll drop my contact information in the chat. Jason, you can help me out with that, and we
Sure.
can connect one-on-one.
Yeah, so there's a couple questions here, Keith. One is a little lengthy, the other two, I'll start with those first. One is, how do people normally order a name search?
So through our system, we have the ability to order name searches directly into our platform where you'll have a detailed opportunity to in minuate, I want a judgment search on a state level or a judgment search on a county level. Sometimes people send emails. What I've noticed is a lot of times a name search or a UCC search is requested by an underwriter and they just send it to somebody and they say, I don't really know what all this entails. So when somebody reaches out and says they need a name search, I'll ask, what exactly is the underwriter requesting? All liens, is it tax liens, federal liens, judgments, UCCs? There's a bunch of different requirements that certain underwriters may have. So for us, we always do reach out with the client to figure out exactly what they need. Sometimes less is more. We give what we think the underwriter wants based on their requirements. And if they want additional services, we add to it. But it's essentially based on the customer's requirements. Some people only want a UCC search. Some people want a full name search that covers every possible aspect that could possibly be uncovered during these searches. Judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, litigation. It just depends on how deep they want to go.
Okay, and the second question here is, this is related to Florida. What does a complete full name search look like in the state of Florida?
So Florida is interesting. They get very granular. In Florida, you can perform a UCC search on a state level as well as a county level. The state level should be up to date, but it is 100% not always, which is why you can also search on the county level. They both should intertwine and you can both use it to remove the issues. Judgments, they have a state search as well as a county search. State tax liens in Florida are done on a county level, while federal tax liens are done on a state level, and pending litigation is always done on the county level. Federal searches do include bankruptcies on a national level, and federal litigation can be performed as well, both civil and multi-jurisdictional. So Florida, you can really get into the weeds in the county and the state, whereas in some states, it's just a state level search. In some states, they don't even necessarily have a state tax lien process, right? It's done differently. So Florida, you can really get granular. It's a good question.
Okay. And what's the turnaround time for, like, if Skyline was to handle the UCC search, what's the average turnaround time for something like that?
Also a good question. Depending on the complexity of search, the average turnaround time in Florida is 2 business days. If it's outside of Florida for a name search, I tell people 2 to 3 business days. Give me that extra day. In many cases, it's done within 1 to 2. That's in Florida. If it's a big search, we've had searches that have hundreds and hundreds of hits, right? That could take 4 or 5 days. But in average, 2 to 3 days, mostly two in Florida. Anything outside of Florida typically is 3 to 5 days. And that's because sometimes outside the state of Florida, a portion of these name searches have to be done by a ground abstractor who physically goes into these county record offices. So 2 to 3 days in Florida, 3 to 5 days outside. And if any customer needs it rushed, we rush. We don't charge for that for these services. We just push it.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all the questions that I see in the chat. If anybody has anything else, feel free to let us know now. Obviously, here's Keith's information if you want to get in touch with him directly. We also, on our website, in our article blog section, we have a lot of good articles. I'll email you guys the links to those specific articles related to UCC searches within the next 24 hours. So that kind of just dives down deeper a little bit more, touches on some of the nuances of searches that maybe we didn't touch on today, or you might want to know more about. So they're pretty valuable pieces of information.
Thank you, Jason. And I just want to leave you all with this. Although many of you probably know exactly the complexity or how often you may need something like this of these name searches, almost every client we've ever had has asked us at one point in time. So this does happen with these larger commercial deals, these larger type deals where there's multiple people involved with multiple assets and, business owners. They happen. If it happens to you, you can reach out. We can always be a resource to you. If you ever need any additional information, I'm happy to help. And once again, please visit us at Skyline Title Support for anything We have a bunch of services done by a bunch of people who've been doing this for decades. Okay. We live for this stuff and we love the opportunity to be a part, even if it's a small part of what makes you successful. So thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate your time.